Well, I think this is on, and hello and welcome. It is Wednesday at 10 o'clock. And for folks who don't have to deal with the US and their time change, I apologize in advance for people who actually may end up missing this because it's at a different time. So I'll just put this out there in advance for folks who are catching this on the replay who were like, what the hey? Like, this is at a different time. And it is. And I'm sorry. For folks who are in the chat, I see Sonia and Margaret and Keith. Please let me know if you can see me and hear me, just so I know that the tech is working. It will make me feel comfortable. And please, if you are here, smash the like button because it makes my heart feel fuzzy. Margaret says, can hear you and see you. Is this not the normal time? It's 10 o'clock Los Angeles, but we fell back with the daylight savings time here in the state that I live in. Thank you, Keith, for confirming that you can hear me and see me. So it's just, I don't think it's going to be at the normal time for some folks. And I think some folks are going to be like, what? And since there are three of us here so far, there's Adrian. I just wanted to point out that I did acquire a new onesie. This is a sloth, believe it or not. And you can see that it's got like the lightning bolt for its speed. I picked this up for Halloween and actually wore it walking around town for Halloween. And I feel like it's like sort of epitomizes the way things have been going lately. I just have not gotten as much done as I would like. And so I feel slothful, but it is cozy and warm and I like it. There is D and Bera and I owe you. I had planned to look up that music actually. I'm pretty sure I had planned to do it. I had the reason I thought that I would be doing it soon. Last week, someone asked me about the track that I had used in the Monthline Mega video, and the reason that I didn't get it because I just assumed that I would be working and that I would be checking it soon. But the universe has conspired against me, so I haven't forgotten. I'm planning on doing that, and I'm planning on actually probably trying to sit down and record the month 10 video for the Mega site. I just haven't been able to get to it because, life, but I'll get there. D says, can't stay for the full stream. I'm meeting my friend at the gym. Yes, I think going to the gym is amazing. And I'm super glad that you're going to do that. And I think that gym friends are great friends. That's all I'm saying. I don't know that you could have better friends than that. So folks, if you're here, tell me, how are you doing? How was the week? Like I finally, so what happened? And my normally like tidy life went sideways because someone else in my life, their life went sideways. So I'm fine. My kids are fine. We're all fine. But I just didn't have my normal schedule. So I basically have had almost no work time in the last 4 weeks. Just usual, like normal work time. So I haven't gotten very much done at all. And I'm super grumpy about it. But I will say that today is the first day that I will have some time to work. In the next couple of days, I will be working a lot. So it would be really great to hear what everybody has been able to get done in the last week, because then I will feel motivated and I'll be ready to get going. People have been asking a lot about the income report for month 10, and I'm planning on recording it today or tomorrow. So I expect it to be posted by the end of the week. It's got to be done. I'm also going to try this weekend to make an update video for the fight site, which I just haven't made any videos on it because, life, it's happening. It's happening. It has happened to me recently. I did want to give a shout out to the folks in the Mega group this month. I have been in the spreadsheet just a little bit, but I see a lot of work happening in there. And for folks who are catching this either live or on the replay, Sabina and Jasper and Sarah and Eric and Adrian, Supriya and Marika, Donna K, Margaret, you guys have been working so hard. Jay-Z, all of you guys, like, I just love seeing all of your updates. I feel like this month was probably like one of the better months that we have had for folks who are getting into the group, because we just don't have people who are like put their name in and then just don't do anything, or they just don't update it. Like the people who are in there are really being active, and it's so cool to see. Like, I just like looking at it and then seeing all the work that's happening, and not just like people posting a lot, but just routinely and consistently getting to do the work, sometimes every day, like taking action every single day. It's super inspiring, and it's just so awesome. Like, I just really like seeing it, and people sharing, their vulnerabilities, like, hey, I was sick, I wasn't able to get things done, but then you see people like getting back to work, or people saying, "Hey, traffic did this, but here's what I'm doing to push through that." And it's just great. It's just great. Josh Coop, there you are. Folks, we had daylight savings happen here too. So if some folks are like, I don't know what time it is and what are you doing on right now? Because it's not the normal time. And I'm sorry. I'm blaming it on Niche Safari Chris, who just happens to be here in the chat today. Hey, Chris. Chris usually forgets about me, so the fact that Chris is here is a good thing. Do you like my new onesie, my new sloth onesie? I just like petting it. It just Sonia says, I've been busy preparing to move to a different city for work, so I've not been actively writing, but can't wait to settle down and start a writing routine. The routine is very, very key. Josh says, holidays are short of time. It's like being on a hamster wheel. Look, half the time in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I have not known, I feel like, which way was up. It's literally just been putting one foot in front of the other, just trying to not drown in the activities and the things, the responsibilities, and just it's been wild, like so wild. D says, last week ran away from me. Yeah, it sure did. Changing day jobs. So that has been the focus. Fingers crossed for next week. Chris says that he forgot twice. And I feel like that's almost unforgivable, my friend. No, I'm kidding. It's totally forgivable. You're forgiven. You're 100% forgiven. Bara says, how many articles on the mega site live now? On the mega site, I have 420, which means that I have 80 to get done by the end of the month, because I randomly chose an arbitrary goal because of No Look November, that I was going to just finish off the last 100 articles that I need to do to get to 500 at the end of November, instead of giving myself all of December to do it. So 420 with 80 to go, and I'm gonna get there. I'm totally gonna get there. I am not going to let anything stop me. I don't care about this schedule. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, but No Look November. So I saw Dee mention something earlier, either or someone else in. I know Dee did. She commented on my original like here we go post. But No Look November. That means that I'm not looking at Google Analytics, and I'm not looking at Amazon Associates or at Ezoic. So I'm not looking at any of these places that I don't have any need to be in there, right? And unfortunately for my No Look November, it's not like a pure no looking, because I'm currently having to go into Google Search Console to manually index articles. And I also am going into SERP Robot to enter in the keywords for the articles that I'm posting. So I generally have at least some information. So it's not a pure no look, but I have not opened Google Analytics one single time since last week, since I proclaimed that I wasn't going to look. I have not opened it one time, and I'm going to have to open it to make my month 9 video. So what I'm planning on doing actually is like putting up a piece of paper and like shielding myself from that stuff until I can switch the date range to October, because I don't want to know what's going on in November, because I'm not looking. So I have not logged on. So I have no idea. And it's kind of like difficult because, of course, as soon as I announce that I'm doing this, Google says, oh, hey, by the way, we're doing a major update. And I'm like, great. How am I doing? I have no idea. So I literally have no idea. So folks, if you are, whether or not you're doing No Look November, I'm guessing that almost nobody is, because a lot of people said that they would never be able to do it. Is anybody noticed any major or insignificant change as a result of the Google spam update that they were crowing about last week, that it was rolling out? I would love to know. I don't know. I have no idea. I definitely, had disclosed last week that the Mega site was seeing some changes that I assumed, I had made the assumption were the result of seasonality, but truly, I don't know. And I'm not looking at the data right now to go and try to decipher it, because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to keep posting stuff. But yeah, if you are seeing any changes or impacts because of the most recent Google update, I would love to know. As for the no look part, here's the thing. So the first thing that I did was I uninstalled Google Analytics from my phone. And I realized that day and the days after how often I was actually picking it up to look at it. And it was something I wasn't even realizing. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I would check it once a day, but I gotten in the habit, like in the grocery line, picking up my phone and be like, oh, like I wonder what's going on. Like just something to do, right? Maybe you would look at the news or you would send a text message, but I was opening up Google Analytics and looking. Now, when your site is going great, that's awesome, right? Because you're, I'm going to put on my air quotes, winning all day long, right? You open it up, you're like, winning. You go to the grocery store, you're sitting in line waiting to bag your groceries, like winning. You're sitting in line waiting to pick up your kids, and you open up the thing and you're like, winning. And that's great, right? You're getting these positive shots of dopamine. It's like drugs, right? You're like happy and like super jazzed. But what happens when it's not working like that, when you open it up multiple times all day long and you're losing, like failed, like in the line, like waiting for your kids, like fail, like it's just not a good thing to be addicted to because it's distracting. It takes you out of your game. And then if you're addicted to dopamine like I am, you open this up expecting that hit of chemicals to make you feel good, and then it doesn't happen, and then you're like, huh. So I realized that I was picking this up and looking at it. And so what was happening, I felt like a recovering addict, like smoker, or, something where I would continually pick it up and realize, oh, I can't look at this right now, or I can't look at that thing right now. And so having to put it down. And so if anything has improved since last week, it's not that I no longer want to know, because I still want to know like all the time how the site is doing, but I'm picking up my phone less to open it up to look. Like I'm slowly breaking myself of the habit of like just continually looking, so that I think when I am allowed again to look, that I'm going to restrict it to maybe just once a day, like choose a day, or even like just say Mondays or every other day, or just something that's not, I don't think I'm going to put Google Analytics back on my phone either. I think that it's got to be sitting down to actually do work. I just don't think it's a good idea to, sort of relax, like use that as my, oh, I'll sit and watch TV or and like scroll through analytics. Like, no, this feeds my addiction of looking at data. And it was so interesting when I had originally posted in the community tab that I was going to do this, how many people said that they could never do it, that they couldn't go one single day, they couldn't go 24 hours without looking. Now, if folks, you're in the chat, and could you please explain to me why it is that why you could not go 24 hours without looking at what's going on with Google Analytics? Like, truly, like I've made it the whole week, and Stiggs isn't even here for me to give him a hard time, because he said I would make 8 days and I wouldn't be able to get further than that. And I want him to be here so I can say, ha ha, I haven't made it 8 days yet, but I've made it 7. So there. And I'm going to make it 8 days. So there. So there. So yes, No Look November is happening. And I feel good about it. And I'm going to get through the end of November. And for any of you who are trying to do it with me, I feel your pain, but I feel like it's going to be good, better. Going back to the chat, Josh is praising Keith for his videos, and I concur. Keith's videos are great. Sonia wants to know if anyone here is with Mediavine, and I know that there are some folks who are in here with Mediavine. Chris says you should ask Amelia if she's in Mediavine, and I can quietly tell you that last month in October, I did apply with the Mega site to Mediavine, because we had reached the 50,000 session mark, and it actually took 4 weeks or thereabout, 3 or 4 weeks, right, Chris? 3 or 4 weeks to get a response from them to get a preliminary approval to bring the site over to the Mega site over to Mediavine. So I will hopefully, if I can actually find some time today to do the integration and switchover, have the site up and running with ads in month 11 of a site with Mediavine, which will be like a pretty good accomplishment. Like I can check the box. Like I can have like a a clickbaity thumbnail for YouTube whenever I get around to making clickbaity thumbnails. Saying, okay, like 0 to Mediavine in however many months. Like I met the requirements in month 8, but so it took me from month 8 to month 11 to actually apply and then get preliminary approval. And I guess we'll see how long it will take to get ads showing. I had originally thought that I would just wait and do it after the start of the year, and now I'm like, screw it. Let's just do it. Like, who cares? Let's just do it. So that's one of the things I'll be doing today is working through the to-do list, the punch list from the Mediavine support people to get the Mega site showing ads with Mediavine. So I haven't even logged into the dashboard yet. I got the email yesterday and it was in the middle of hell, like trying to do all the things that the kids need to do after school. So I haven't even looked at it beyond just like, so yay for me. Let's see. Dee says because she's got a new job, same company with a promotion, which is awesome. Congratulations. There's Emil. What's going on? What is going on with you? What's new? Keith asked about analytics. Dee says, I'm trying, but I'm adding a new site to Zoic, so I've had to look for that. Now, if you have to sneak in and look at your dashboard because you're doing something for your site, I mean, I don't feel like that breaks the spirit of No Look November because you're not just going and looking just because, like, you have a purpose. So I feel like you should feel fine. Sonia says, I think she's almost close to qualifying. There is Eric from Income Grinders. How's it going? What's going on? As relating to the Google spam update, Donna Kay says that she hasn't seen any movements up or down in analytics so far, which I suppose is good. I mean, it's always great to get a boost from an update, but in the end, like as long as things don't go bad, I feel good about it. Vera says, so what are folks buying in the Black Friday sale? So for me, I'm not a shopper. So the answer is nothing, but well, actually, no, not nothing. I just haven't heard of anything that I'm really excited about. So please use this opportunity to spam the chat with all of the things that I should buy, that you would buy yourself or that you are planning on buying, because then I would like to know, what am I missing? Like, so the FOMO has a chance to build. So I have a chance to think about it for the next 2 weeks until Black Friday or Cyber Monday or whatever. Like, please tell me. I would like to know. Let's see. Chris is buying a ton of deposit photo credits. I feel like people did that last year also. Yes, are there any good deals for websites? Oh, hey. So, Anthony, this is actually not a hat. This, believe it or not, is a whole entire suit. It is the suit. See? It's the whole thing. It doesn't have a tail. So I feel like it might be rounded out better, but I don't have to sit on it. Like the cat suit is cool, but then it's got this like tube that I have to sit on, and I would much rather wear the sloth and feel slothful than sit on the tube. But this is what it does to my hair. Margaret says, uh-oh, I never even thought of my phone to check analytics, but now that you've mentioned it. Yes, well, my dear, I have a feeling you would have figured it out eventually. And so at least we can prepare you for the perils of having the Google Analytics app on your phone. It's the devil. I'll just tell you right now, it's the devil. Eric says, you could find technical issues by looking at analytics, which need swift action. I totally agree. And the point of No Look November is not to never look at analytics. It's just not to look at it all day, every day, which is what a lot of people do. And not only that, but it's like people don't even have control over the impulse to check analytics and the potential harm I feel like it can do to mental health and to motivation by continually being engaged with analytics, which at the end of the day, you probably only need to check one time at most just for that reason. And if you have a plan, if your goal is to get to 1,000 articles in 24 months, then spending time every day, sometimes people end up sitting on there and like, analyzing the data, and like, it feels like you're moving your business forward, but in the end, it probably isn't. Like it's good to check analytics, but then how much time do people lose that they could be spending on the site or with their family or sleeping or taking a walk. So it just some I just I think people get obsessed with analytics and thinking that checking analytics is moving their business forward, but it isn't. And I can put myself in that category 100%, which is the reason that we're just trying to look less. So yes, I agree. I just don't think we need to check that much. He says people get a dopamine hit. I'd say I'm 100% addicted to it. Like there's nothing I like more than to make a list. This is my daughter's list, you see here. To make a list. Oh, see, look, she's got broccoli on there, and I think that says oranges. So broccoli and oranges. Is to check things off a list, right? To make the list and then to like the actual like scratching it off, like I did it, I did it, I did it. Like it's the same thing for me. I'm addicted to it. And I just have to work within that and know that because when I don't get the dopamine, I'm like severely, sometimes even depressed, very unmotivated and depressed. Congratulations for getting on Mediavine. Yep, I this just I did not expect to get there in the first year for this project, so it's been pretty cool. It feels good. Eric says, "Yeah, I mean, for example, if traffic drops a lot one day, I found tech issues with some sites by monitoring stats. I should set up alarms." So, I think checking stats once a day is completely reasonable. Like picking like a time, like first thing in the morning or at the end of the day or something, but not this like continual like nobody needs to be checking Google Analytics in the grocery store line, which is me. I don't need to do that. There are other things that I could fill my brain with, like something valuable or I don't know, engage with people, talk to people. I'm bad at that. Dee says it will be really good to see the comparison to Ezoic. Yeah, I'm really curious to see about the RPMs. That's something that people talk a lot about making the switch. And the RPM has been averaging, at least going up to before my no look November, was averaging around $14. So if it jumped, I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about that. I mean, I wouldn't feel bad about that at all. Hey, Joanne, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in. There's Chris says, I applied to get my Amiga site into Mediavine on October 19th and still waiting. So yeah, we applied. I think I applied right before you did. So fingers crossed, maybe it's just like in the queue and hopefully you'll be getting the email soon. Jay-Z says, are we live? And the answer is yes. Why do you ask? Chris says, it's not really Amiga site because I started late, but I'll call it that. I think you can call it Amiga site. We started it in 2021. It makes you one of us. That's all I'm saying. Dee says, does anyone have any good manual pinning Pinterest strategies? I've used Tailwind in the past and my traffic dropped off, so I stopped using it, looking at going back to it. Yeah, I'm not the Pinterest guru. I pretty much post to Pinterest for because I think it makes the site seem authentic, right? Like having a social, the social fortress, like having a footprint, on Facebook and on Pinterest and other places, just seems natural that pins over time would be associated with the site. Just I don't pin a ton, like I don't pin hundreds of pins in a day. I just pin over there as the articles come out. That's my only strategy, and I get very little traffic from Pinterest. So clearly, not the Pinterest guru. Clearly. And folks, if you are in the chat, please say hi. Please let me know if you are here. And if you are working, please feel free to drop in that, hey, I'm here and I'm getting stuff done. Just nice to know that you guys are here. There's Mercic. What's going on? He is recommending buying bed tables and laptop stands for more productivity, chilling in bed when you can't sleep but don't feel like getting out of bed. So this would be a great time to, if you're like looking at investing in a computer or in a chair. I mean, I have been thinking about it. You should see I have a 20-year-old chair that I just put a pad that I can sit on so I can make it last longer because I can't be bothered to invest in things. Keith says, thanks, Dee. I'm lost. Let's see. Oranges. Yes. Chris says that he gave up on Pinterest. It's become so anti-creators. They are really pushing people who want to spend money on the platform, and they don't want you to post anything that will take people off the platform. So they are finally getting into the making money game. Let's see. Joanne says, thinking of changing my theme to cadence. Not sure. What do you think? Have popcorn. I've talked to one or two individuals who have cadence, and they really like it. I don't personally have it, so I will kick it to folks in the chat if people are using cadence versus popcorn. I know there's some popcorn some popcorn fans in the chat, but people will have to have it out there because I have not used cadence yet. Anthony says, I find myself looking at my website analytics less, and now I'm checking my YouTube stats even more. Right, because there's an addiction. So you start looking for, it's like people who stop smoking and then start eating. Like they have to find something to fill that. And I totally have started to do that as well. And so like recognizing that I have an addiction and then I have to find something else to fill that space. So I have been trying to put my phone down and just put my phone down instead of saying, okay, I have it and just doing something else because I do. And my YouTube stats don't change that much in a day. I mean, there's no reason to be looking at it like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or more times in a day. So I think that's an insightful thing that you notice that. And then the next question would be, well, what will you do now that you know that you are just filling the Google Analytics hole with YouTube Analytics? Like, is there something else that you could do in that time that is beneficial for your business that actually moves things forward versus just is like giving you that dopamine bra? Vera says, is the Mega site approved by Mediavine? I have officially, as of yesterday, received the preliminary approval. They still have to go and, get everything set up and make sure AdSense doesn't really hate the site and all the rest. But they have been through the approval process, and apparently that they actually send the sites to their advertisers to give them a chance to say, nah, nah. So the fact that I've gotten through that part of it, and I have had a site actually get denied during that process before a couple years ago. So I was kind of worried, especially with sort of the traffic bumping around that's happening with the site in the last, well, it was, I don't know what it's doing now. I hope it's doing well, but at the end of October, there was like, so yeah, got there. Keith says that Anthony is killing it on YouTube. I love people when they say that. You're killing it, man. I mean, I don't know why it's just associated with making money online, but like crushing it, like killing it, like that's what we do here online, apparently. Stig says, are you early or am I late? And I was busy watching Anthony's report. Well, Stigs, if you you probably didn't know this, or maybe you did and forgot, but daylight savings time is a thing, and it happens twice a year to screw with all of us. And it happened, and so I'm on time, but our time is not at the same time. So the answer is yes, and we are not on the normal time, and you are late. So there. And I wanted to tell you, I did tell the group that this for No Look November. I have not looked at all. So you called me out last week. You were like, oh, she won't make it 8 days or whatever. Well, I'm almost there. It's like this sort of like, just watch me. I am well on my way to finishing out No Look November. And I actually, and it's funny, like the segue transition, I actually did 2 podcast interviews last week for a podcast that this community will know of. And I actually went on, and it won't be a surprise, I went on the Doug Show again. It'll be my third appearance on the Doug Show, and talked about No Look November there. And then I've been quietly kind of like sitting on this one, but Spencer Haas cold outreached me a couple weeks ago and asked me to go on the Niche Pursuits podcast. So with his host, Jared Bauman. And so we talked about it there also. So now that I've said it, right, now that I've put it out there, my accountability levers are full in force. I have basically gone to 2 audiences that are much larger than mine and told them that I was doing this. So now I have to. I have no choice, because then everybody will know if I fail, because I went and told a whole bunch of people. So I'm expecting the interview with the Doug Show to come out in a couple of weeks, and the Niche Pursuits podcast should come out near the end of the month. And because I have anxiety, and because I don't have a lot of confidence with how I perform on these things, I'm going to need you all to go and listen to them, and then come back and tell me how much of a doofus I was. Because I can't go back and listen to them. I can't. I feel like a doofus. So I'm gonna need you all to do that, and then I will be at home hiding under my sloth costume like this, like hoping that it was all okay and that I didn't say something completely and totally moronic, which is probably what I did. Yep. Probably what I did. Anthony says he's trying to improve watching vidIQ and channel makers a lot. I do like the channel makers channel, and there's I have all kinds of channels that I watch. If you ever want some um, like recommendations. Stig says, "Holy crap! You guys see what happened with analytics today? Geez, glad I caught it." Yeah, don't even tease me, man. It's not even going to trick me. I'm not going to go and look. Whatever's happening is happening, and if it's happening, it's just going to have to happen until the end of the month. That's just what it's going to be because I'm not going to be looking or fixing anything. Jay-Z says, I forgot about the live stream. And I say, how dare you? How dare you? Oh, man. Let's see. Dee and Chris were talking about Pinterest. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Chris quit Pinterest and Dee came to the same conclusion, but one of my sites is very YMYL, so lends itself to it. You know, you just never really know if it will work or not until you try. So there you go. Jay-Z said, I was having hoisin duck with pancakes. And that's right. Carl Broadbent, Corn is not here to tell us what is for tea. I bet our schedule has screwed with him. Carl, if you are watching this on the replay, please tell us in the comments below this video is what did you make for tea? Inquiring minds must know. What do you feed the squirrel? The squirrels come by and basically eat anything and everything. My neighbor actually puts out peanuts for them. And so the squirrels come by and then just leave peanut shells everywhere. Like they sit on the fence and then so they're just peanut shells all over. So I don't feed them anything, but the neighbors feed them, which is why they are constantly running around super fat, happy. Let's see. Bradbury, what's going on? Thanks for dropping in. I can see how far back in the chat I am. Emil says that he loves Cadence and uses it all the time. There is a vote for Cadence. There we go. Jay-Z says, get a new chair. It's a business expense, right? Also, an ergonomic chair is good for your health. Yes, but I could spend that money. Well, like John, a new chair for you would be like 1,000 articles, right? Because you pay like $1 per article. So if I were to spend, some money on like a good chair, that would be almost a whole website, right? I don't know. I just think, okay, if I could spend that money on content, if I'm going to spend that money on the business, it might as well be on content because at least that would move things forward. And I can tough it out with a chair that's not like perfectly ergonomic. I'd rather spend it on content. Nightcrawler says Cadence is good. Another vote for Cadence, that they like it. D says popcorn fan. Hashtag popcorn fan. And like I said, it's not surprising. I also use popcorn, but I think that folks should use what works for them. So Donna K says, I like using Cadence. It's super easy to use. Jay-Z says, I use Generate Press Premium. Another vote for Cadence. They say it's good and fast. There you go. Electronic Earning says, are you looking for new onesies instead, Amelia? Well, here's how I got this one. This one is not super fancy, but it was like, I got it secondhand for $2 because I just wait till Halloween. Every year at Halloween, I go and hit the Halloween racks, not looking for costumes, but looking for onesies that I can wear in my live stream. That's how I've acquired all of them. So I'm not shopping for onesies anymore because I acquired 2 of them. And there will be, I will be eventually wearing the other one in the stream one of these days. I'll get around to it. Are you Flash Gordon or no, just the Flash? This is a sloth. And the reason that there is the lightning bolt on here is because it's funny because sloths are very slow. It's like a sloth joke, like they're making fun. I'm not surprised you didn't catch that though, Stigs. Sometimes jokes just go like whoosh over your head. So I totally get it. Time ever fleeting. Adrian, how's it going? Adrian Z, what's going on? D says, looking forward to listening to the podcast. Got to go now. Have a great and productive week, everybody. Donna K, and D, and I just flubbed that. I was thinking that D was in the Mega spreadsheet, and I was thinking of Donna K. You're not the same, ladies, and I apologize. Have a great and productive week, D. And separate from that, Hughes of Donna K, so I can see the chats. I also wish you a happy and productive week. Eric says 100% Generate Press here, keeping it simple. I have like 6 or 7 sites with Generate Press, so I agree. Stig says, "We'll definitely catch those interviews. Is Spencer just not doing interviews anymore?" I don't know. He just I think he hired somebody. And the thing is, I will say this about Jared, like he is a fairly decent interviewer. And speaking with him, you could see that he was listening to the things that I had to say and then was drawing questions from the things that I was actually talking about, which is a great sign as far as somebody who's doing interviews. So I enjoyed speaking with him quite a bit. From what Anthony, oh, a compliment. He says, "What I have seen, you've always performed well on podcasts." Yeah, I just tend to go into this mode of like performing monkey. Like somebody presses the record on button, and then I start performing. It's like I black out and I become a different person. And then at the end, I get to the end, and they're like all done, and I'm like, and I don't even know what happened. It's like time traveling, and so that's why I need people to go back and tell me what did I do, and did I ruin something? Adrian says, "Great costume." Yes, I do. I do just wear onesies on live streams, not because it's because my house is cold, and I would rather just put one of these on and sit in my cozy like nook here in my office than turning on the heat for the whole house. Vera says, "Are you planning a new site on January 2022?" Great question. Right now, tentatively, the answer is yes. So for folks who are thinking about jumping into the starting a new site in as a group in January of 2022, tentatively the plan is yes, even though I can see Chris over there going like this, like no, 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 like don't you do it. But I'm pretty sure I'm planning on doing it. And it would be great to have other folks who want to start a site and then see where it goes in 2022. I don't know if I'm going to call it the me like codename Miga. I think we'll have to think up a new designation so that we don't that it's not confusing. So people continue to talk about year 2 of their Miga site, and so if we like have Miga 1, Miga 2, I think it'll be too confusing. So we're gonna need a new code name, people. So as you're in the chat, let's start thinking of a new code name for January 2022 launch, because that way we'll know what we're talking about. I am all over the place, Eric. That's my MO. Stig says, "Didn't see the hood. Now I got it." Yes, well, you are an observant man. We know that. Looks like you're Mayor Lightfoot. Amal, any accountability groups or spreadsheets in 2022? Well, we will probably, I personally will continue to do the MEGA, I don't want to call it content challenge. I will just, I did the spreadsheet for 3 months and then swore up and down I wasn't going to continue it. And now we're in month 11. So what we will probably do is start a new Google sheet for 2022 and start with January. So I guess here at the end of December, I will post the accountability spreadsheet for 2022, and everybody is welcome to join. Obviously, no cost. Be kind, support each other, that kind of thing. And it's awesome. Joanne says, "I would love to join a group." Now, that's the thing too, for folks that need maybe more accountability, that want to speak to people. That's another thing that could be done, is people could form, I hate calling them masterminds, but groups of 3 or 4 people to touch base, once a week or once a month or something. I highly recommend doing that. Yes, me and my office. Yes, it's like my office space. Donna's laughing at me. I know I have not had enough coffee. I'm drinking cool coffee today because my microwave is broken. And I usually make coffee at the beginning of the week and then just drink through it, just like keep it cold and then warm it up. And yeah, drinking cold coffee because the microwave's broke. Adrian Z says, "I've been rewatching the monthly reports, but you didn't say anything about Google indexing. How is it for you in the beginning? Because Google is barely indexing anything on my site." It indexed a good portion of the articles, but did not index many of them. And I didn't get to really index anything when the tool was down. And I have been using SERProbot to tell me what URLs are being found or not, and then just every day going in and doing 10 articles manually based upon what SERProbot tells me it's finding or not, because Google Search Console tells me that like all the URLs are green, that they're all indexed, but they're not showing up in SERProbot. And so I go and manually index them, and about 3/4 of them pop up after that and then start getting traffic. So, yes, it's been a problem, but I haven't really been terribly focused on it because I just figure that eventually they'll get in there, and I've just been doing manual indexing with Cerbera. And lots of people are having trouble with it. My fight site that I haven't updated on in a while has also been, almost maybe only 10% of the articles were indexed until recently when I started, working on getting them indexed by manually indexing them, and only about half of the articles will stick, even though I've asked Google to index them. And I think the solution for me is just it needs more content so that stuff will link, and so that it will have a better footprint in the Google sphere. I think that will help. I think small sites are at a disadvantage. Devin says, "What do you think about expired domains? I found some free ones, but with not many links like 30, but really old 2007. I don't think there is a general broad good, bad, ugly. I think each one of those domains has to be evaluated." And that's actually a good thought because I had spoken to Alex over at Otis about doing a sponsored case study with an age domain, and I kind of forgotten about that. Maybe the 2022 site would be my age domain experiment. Hmm. I don't know. I'll have to message him and see if I can get him and to see what he would be, what sort of partnership he would be interested in. I should write that down. Anyway, I'll remember. Maybe. Chris says, "How about this is my last site ever?" Chris thinks that I need to just put my head down and grind it out on the Mega site, and he's probably right. But I the reason that I feel like I should start another site is that I feel like I've grown so much in the knowledge that I have in the last even year, and like looking at some of the older stuff versus some of the stuff I feel like I can do now. I feel like I would like 3 or 4 sites that are fresh with the knowledge that I have now versus trying to overcome the knowledge that I had then. And right now I have 2 sites with the knowledge that I have now versus like 7 or 8 sites with the knowledge that I had then. So that's part of the reason why I want to start another site. I would like to have 3 or 4 with the knowledge I have now. Let's see. This is my last site ever. I know I had to think of an acronym. I don't know. My Tim. All right. I'm going to need people to help me with the name because clearly I have no creativity when it comes to that. Let's see. Donna Kay says those masterminds would be really great to form and help with accountability. I can say without a doubt that those meetings with people over the last 2 years that I've been doing it have made a dramatic difference, not only in my production and output, but also how I feel, like my mental health and stability. I just ride out the waves of instability with the Google sphere and how the site goes up and down, and in the growth phase when you're doing a lot of work and nothing's happening. I feel much more stable than I did before when I was working by myself, so I cannot recommend them highly enough. Vera says, "Have you selected your niche? Is it focused on affiliate or ezoic?" It'll be probably an info site. It'll be focused on ads, and I just I don't do the affiliate stuff that well. Keyword yet, but I have not chosen the niche yet. I could see myself spending December working on that once I get the Mega site to 500 articles. And no, I'm not planning on stopping creating content for the Mega site. I just really want to work better on my procedures and like processes to make it so that I still produce content on the site regularly, get it to 1,000 articles potentially in year 2. So, but without necessarily as much effort and like without spending as much time on it. So I've got to figure out how to, I'm going to put up my air quotes, scale, right? Like that's year 2 on the site is how do I scale it? That'll be the challenge. How do I scale it with while also bringing along other sites? That is the challenge. Adrian says, "I've been indexing them manually for a full month, but still one URL gets 3 days." Yeah. And you know what? You index them and then SERP robot shows that they're indexed. And then a couple of days later or a week later, that one that was indexed falls out. And then you just have to keep going through and keep working on the site. And I think in the end, some of the articles will always be out of the index and it'll constantly be a fight to keep them in the index. Anthony says, "What about the Biden My Time site?" to go against the Amiga site, the Making the Internet Great Again. That would be balance, huh? But then people would start to think that there was something political about it. Chris says, I wonder if you should write really detailed pillar posts on a new site to get Google willing to start indexing. It might be hesitant to index articles unless they appear to offer a ton of value. That is something to think about, especially as we go into this age of AI where a lot of the content on the internet is just recycled from elsewhere. So if you in your site architecture, you have this pillar post that is like massively awesome, and maybe it doesn't get traffic per se, maybe it's a really competitive keyword, but you have a lot of articles linking to it so that you have this unique resource that appears to be really authoritative. Like maybe it would help all those other outlier articles stay in the index. I don't know, something to think about. Chris says, Anthony has a point. If we had Miga, let's balance it out. Build blogs better. Adrian says, I'll try to write some more pillar posts. Stig says, balancing a portfolio sounds like spinning plates on sticks. Lots of running back and forth. Welcome to my life. That is my life, is spinning plates on sticks. If only I were good at spinning plates on sticks. Constantly propping up articles. Oh yeah, with the index. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's face it though. At any moment, Google could come in and then just knock all the plates off. That's this business that we are investing in, is something where Google can come in and take it all away from us. I'm just right now, I'm looking at my to-do list, like my to talk about list. And the things I had planned to mention were just to ask people how they are weathering the Google spam update. And so far, I haven't heard anyone say anything positive or negative as far as impact as a result of the spam update. And if you came into the chat later, please let us know if you were impacted one way or another. I plan to record the Amiga update video this week, so hopefully it will be posted by the end of the week. I'm saying that so that it will be done, so that I can't find a way to wrangle my way out of it and get busy doing something else. It must be done. So I'm telling you all, it must be done. Stig says, what are your lowest articles right now? Check your Google Analytics. Sir, I will not be tricked into sneaking over to Google Analytics. You will have to try much harder to trick me, my friend. Much, much harder than that. Let's see. I have 80 articles to go for the month. So hopefully this weekend you will see a flurry worth of work. And then when I come back next Wednesday, I will be significantly farther along. So far, I've done 20 of the 100 that I need to do this month. So I've got 80 to go. Fingers crossed that I will get there. I wanted to, again, and I did this earlier, give a shout out to folks in the Miga group, and say a special hi to Sabina, who is one of our most enthusiastic participants for the live stream. And my guess is that daylight savings time has messed with her, or she's busy spinning plates like the rest of us. So Sabina, what's up? Keep up the good work. In one of her little updates in the Miga spreadsheet, she says, doubt, doubt so loud. Doubt, doubt, doubt so loud. Yet after that, the next day, she comes in and does work. You see, ups and downs are part of this game, but you just have to come back in the next day and do the work. So well done, my dear. I can't wait to talk with you soon about what's going on. Adrian, as it relates to the spam update, he says, I'm seeing some improvement in traffic the last few days, so up for me. Stig says, as it relates to spinning up jokes or tricks, he says, I'm just getting warmed up. Well, sadly, the stream is almost over. So you're going to have like a really short amount of time to get in there and get done the work done that you need to get done. Keith says, it's a good job. Mediavine hasn't asked for your Google Analytics stats this month. Well, they asked for them last month. And so I printed the report. But still, what I'm planning on doing, truthfully, is if they ask them, is I'm going to get a piece of paper, if I have to go in, and then just hold it over there so that I don't actually look at the things that I don't want to see. Because I truly want to try to be as pure, as do as good a job as I can to stay out of analytics, because it definitely impacts me mentally. I don't need that noise right now. I just need to get 80 more articles done. It does not matter what the site did yesterday. It doesn't matter what it's going to do tomorrow. I will worry about that in December. It will still be there. And if for some reason something happens between now and then, it's still fixable. It will still be there. It will still be there. All right, folks, it's headed towards the top of the hour. I have a whole bunch of stuff to do, and I've been through my topics. Folks, thank you so much for being here. I was feeling not very motivated. I was feeling slothful. So that is why I put on the sloth this morning instead of the rabbit or the cat. I was not feeling agile or ready to fight the good fight, but talking with everybody I am now. And check your email. Stiggs, I have not even like hardly been on the computer in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So I will be checking email today. And if you had emailed me and need something from me, please feel free to send me another email. So it goes on the top. And I hopefully will get a ton of stuff done and see you back here next Wednesday in our new same time slot, just at a different time if you're not in the US and subject to daylight savings. All right, folks. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Take care and have a great week. Go to work, get stuff done. You'll be glad of it. All right. See you later.